Claudia Massey, someone from Illinois, an unarmed black woman, was shot the other day in her home by a deputy sheriff. The deputy has since been charged with murder. You've said police would get immunity from prosecution if you win. Why should someone like that officer have immunity, in your opinion?
Immunity?
Immunity.
I don't know the exact case, but I saw something, and it didn't look good to me. It didn't look good to me. Are you talking with the water, right?
Yeah, well, police unions are not backing this person either.
Okay.
But again, why would...
Are they going to be charging the officer? I guess they're charging the officer.
So why should he receive immunity?
Well, he might not. I mean, it depends. It depends on what happens. I'm talking about people that are much different cases than that. We need people to protect ourselves. And by the way, in Chicago, as an example, a few weeks ago, July 4th weekend, they had 117 shootings and 17 deaths. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. We need to have our police officers have the respect and dignity back. In this particular case, I saw something that didn't look good to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
So can you get a little more specific back to the immunity question? Who would make those
Well, right now, for the most part, people are protected by their unions, by their police unions, or by their police departments. But I'm saying if I felt, or if a group of people would feel that somebody was being unfairly prosecuted because the person did a good job maybe with crime, or made a mistake, an innocent mistake. There's a big difference between being a bad person and making an innocent mistake. But if somebody made an innocent mistake, I would want to help that person.
What would those exceptions be? What would determine an innocent mistake?
You go after somebody and it's a very close call and it's very dangerous. And you know, they have, the policeman's life and woman is a very difficult thing because sometimes you have less than a second to make a life and death decision.
You're an active man. We see you golfing all the time. But if you win, you'll still be president at 82, which is older than Biden is right now.
But not mentally. Look, mentally.
Here's the question.
He's shot. But most people.
Would you consider?
Most people. I know many people in their 80s and their 90s that are in great shape. Some of our greatest leaders. You look at throughout the world history, the greatest leaders, some of the greatest leaders in the world were in their 80s.
But here's the question. Would you consider stepping down if you felt that your health was declining? Or would you?
Oh, absolutely.
And who would
I think I'd know.
How would you make that decision?
I think I'd know. Look, if I came onto a stage like this and I got treated so rudely as this woman treated me.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm fine with it because she was very rude, sir. Very rude. That was a nasty, that wasn't a question. She didn't ask me a question. She gave a statement. That wasn't a question.
I repeated your statement, sir, actually.
You said you would. You would
Oh,
make
absolutely.
that decision
If I
to step
thought
down.
that I was failing in some way, I want people to be sharp. I'll go a step further. I want anybody running for president to take an aptitude test, to take a cognitive test. I think it's a great idea. And I took 2 of them and I aced them.
What can I do about January 6th? You've called yourself the candidate of law and order. Yeah. When Time Magazine asked you if you would consider pardoning all the rioters, you said, yes, absolutely.
Sure.
You called them patriots. 140 police officers were assaulted that day. Their injuries included broken bones, at least 1 officer lost an eye, 1 had 2 cracked ribs, 2 smashed spinal discs, another had a stroke. Were the people who assaulted those 140 officers, including those I just mentioned, patriots who deserve pardons?
Well, let me bring it back to modern day. Like about 5 days ago, we had an attack on the Capitol, a horrible attack on the Capitol. You saw the people that were protesting and spraying these incredible monuments, bells, lions, all these magnificent limestone and granite with red paint, red spray paint, that will never actually come off, especially in the limestone. It will never, I'm a builder, I know about this stuff. It'll never, you'll see it in 100 years from now. They viciously attacked our government. They fought with police. They fought with them much more openly than I saw on January 6th. What's going to happen to those people? What's going to happen to the people in Portland that destroyed that city?
But sir, my question is on those.
What's going to happen to the people that tried to bring
rioters who assaulted officers.
You have to
would you pardon
what's
those
going to
people?
happen? Oh, absolutely, I would.
You would pardon those.
If they're innocent, I would pardon them.
They've been convicted.
And by the way, the Supreme Court just Well, they were convicted by a very tough system. How come the people that tried to burn down Minneapolis, how come the people that took over a large percentage of Seattle, how come nothing happened to them? How come the people
But sir, we're talking about people that were seen beating officers
we're talking
with
about
flagpoles.
First of all, come on, Donald Trump. Come on now, dog. They haven't been convicted yet. You just said you're a partner. You can only pardon somebody. But even so, this is what I mean when I say you get caught up in the bullshit. Who cares what? Like, okay, I get that it speaks to his character. I get it. If you say you're willing to pardon certain people and all of that. But god damn it, man, that was like talk about what we need. That should have been the whole goddamn. We should have been hitting his ass across his head with everything we need. Not come in, man. We need this from you. We need that from you. We need that. You want our vote, and the crowd would have been roaring behind them every time we listed another thing we needed. And y'all want to talk about how he felt about the goddamn rioters? We know how he feels about them. It ain't no fucking secret. Who cares? You brought him here to find out what he gonna do for us. I don't give a shit how he felt about the fucking rioters. Oh my
I think
God.
you're making a good point. Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Marcus was making a good point. I'm sorry. Yeah, not Marcus. I'm sorry. Sweeney's making a good point. That what am I gonna say? That instead of us asking people what's the agenda, like we need to already have in our mind what we want, and just be like, when it comes to this, we need this. Will you be able to do that? Because they got this whole thing thinking like, well, we ain't got to do nothing but say, we go feed them some chicken and dance, and then they'll vote for you, or some ghetto thing in their mind that they don't have to do anything for Black people. It's so evident that they have that. So we have to come up with our own agenda and hold them to it.
I think the lady in the blue, I think she did exactly what she was supposed to do. I think all three of those ladies on there had their questions that they were going to ask and focus on from whatever part of our community that they think we want. And I think the girl in the blue, she addressed, like we said earlier, the emotions and the certain things that's been going on, the people I've been passionate about. I don't think she was rude to him. And I think that Donald Trump handled her real because he's very much as rude too. I think Donald Trump is a very smart person. He's funny. But I think I don't trust him based on Project 25. That's my thing with Donald Trump. I don't like the rudeness. He's very rude. And I think that he got on that platform from her, what he's been giving a lot of people, including Biden, when he goes out there and he does a shit show in an interview. So I think I don't feel sorry for Donald Trump on that. And I think the only reason why he brought up that they started late is because he didn't like how she did say, thank you, Donald Trump, for being here and giving us an hour of your time. That was her way of saying that she greeted him. Probably wasn't enough. Definitely could have did better. But I feel like she did greet him when she said, thank you for an hour of your time before she said, let's jump right into it. So I think she handled it well. And I just don't feel sorry for Donald Trump. And I think he handled her well because usually Donald Trump gets out of character. But I feel like that he felt like he needs the Black vote as well. So he needs to contain himself. So I was really impressed with how he handled that interview. The other girls that asked questions, he didn't answer it. He jumped around it and he deflect like he always does.
Okay. That was a balanced response. Go ahead, Casey. I know you said you wanted to the video.
Oh yeah, so just going back to the beginning, having a hosting and journalistic background, I was very put off by the reporter, the journalist in the blue. I think, like Trev said, you get more bees with honey and not vinegar. And if she wanted to jump right into it, I think she could have been so warm. And the first thing she could have asked him is, Donald Trump, why you in 2024? Why should we choose you? If you're interviewing a person, I think the best thing you need to do is focus on who they are, why they are there. But bringing up Kamala being a DEI hire, I know that a lot of people would like to know that answer, but you could have gotten to that down the road a few minutes into the conversation and ease your way into it after he was comfortable with talking to you. If you turn a person off within the first 2 sentences, the wall is up, the guard is up, they're in fight mode, and they're not going to give you anything at all. The lady in the black in the middle, she had a more balanced approach to him. She leaned in, she seemed more sincere. But I kind of felt like the lady in the blue just came off as stereotypical black woman with every other race thinks of us, hostile, impatient, hard nosed, trying to play hardball with a man type vibe. At the end of the day, he is a former president. So, and he's a man, right? So, as a woman, those two things being on that stage would be the thing sitting right here on my mind, and also making sure I protect my reputation and my job, that I would want to be used in the future in other situations like this, right? So the professionalism would be right up here and the respect factor would be right up here, but I'm still going to do my job in a respectable way. To me, a lot of times their interaction really gave Love and Hip Hop reunion vibes. It gave, I want to get down to the nitty gritty. You had the audience, hey, hey, hey. Like it was not giving, this is the upper crust. Like let's Donald, you need to rise to our occasion. We're going to treat you with the utmost respect and we want you to come back, but we have to take care of business. But just like in your home, right? You have standards in your home, but you want people to want to come back to your home. If you treat them badly, they're not going to want to come back and they're not going to be comfortable while they're there. So that's how I felt. But the lady in the black, I like the way she asked the questions, and also the lady in the pink on the far end, she was a little more sincere and controlled with the way she asked questions as well.
All right. Yes.
Yeah. So I think that he kind of danced around the Sonya Messi thing, because he didn't want to upset his base by condemning a police officer. And that's a huge issue, because when something is wrong, especially like that in a charged scenario like that, he needs to be able, if you want to be the president, to say, or president again, to say, hey, this is an issue. We're not standing for this. And that officer will be charged along with anybody else who does, just becomes trigger happy and kills someone. The qualified immunity question, that's one of the biggest things that would be effective in our community, especially with the history of the violence with the police. So just to get them a carte blanche to do whatever they want and not be held accountable, that's a huge problem, like a huge problem. I get the idea of wanting to figure out a way to curb violence or to do, preventative measures and giving people more leeway. But it's kind of been proven that more police or police violence doesn't equate to lower numbers in crime. It's the things that happen before crime occurs that equate to lower numbers in crime, like better schooling. So that plan has to be well thought out before, like what happens today. It's really about what happened 3 to 4 to 5 years ago to push that person into that. So I don't think police reform and allowing them to be more brutal is the way. I think that's an antiquated idea from a time when people glorified cops on them shows where they just caught somebody, beat them up, and then set them on their way, and then the community just was intact because the police was just out there. Like that time is done. That time is done. I think they need to have more comprehensive social service measures for people to stop them from reoffending or offending initially. Again, I really wish though the ladies would have asked questions about tangibles. It's a wasted opportunity. It really is. They could have just lived like under the premise he is a racist white man. Now ask your questions. Just, you believe you're a racist white man, just operate like you're a racist white man. Now I asked your questions. Like whether he like you know what I'm saying? I don't care at the bank if the person who give me my money like me or not. Just give me what I'm cashing my check for, or what I'm supposed to be in my drop. So yeah, I think it was a missed opportunity.